Okay.
Publish and
So,
subscribe.
no, the basic, you know, or the keyword one would want to hear when somebody asks you this question would be asynchronous transmission of data.
Okay.
The word asynchronous is important. Now, what is the significance of the word asynchronous? It means that the sender and the receiver of the message need not be online at the same time in order to send and receive the message.
Okay, got it.
It's like
Sending email.
chatting.
Okay.
Chatting. You send a message. If the other party is offline, he'll receive an offline message. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, you know, on this concept, you will realize that there are some huge industries that work on the concept of JMS. For example, the stock market. For example, the prices of crude oil, silver, gold, you know, stuff, commodities like this. This fluctuates every minute. So we need a JMS system to broadcast or to send the data to the receiver or receivers with a /s multiple, okay?
Right.
To receive this updated price value every periodic second, every periodic minute or whatever.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So for chatting, you can use JMS. Okay. All these messengers, they basically work on the concept of JMS. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. WhatsApp application, you got the Skype application, they all work on the concept of JMS.
Right.
The stock exchange markets work on the concept of JMS, and there are other uses of JMS as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And that is the reason why we are studying JMS.
Okay.
So basically a JMS has two components. One is a JMS server.
Okay.
The other is the JMS module.
Okay.
And then you've got the sender and the receiver.
Okay.
Okay. Let me draw a diagram.
Okay. So I'm gonna make you the presenter.
Yes, please.
Okay.
JDBC. Hold on. Okay, I think you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, now here you have something called as the managed server.
Okay.
I can see MS1, and within the managed server you've got a JMS server. I will call it JMS server 1. Okay.
Okay.
And you tell me, I mean, you guys are should know this basically. A JMS server would want to persist. This is nothing but it's similar to like you have a data source. Remember, yes, last time, and we targeted the data source to the managed server. The managed server reads the data source and creates JDBC connection objects.
Right.
Similarly, the JMS server is also a set of XML files which will have configuration specifications.
Mm-hmm.
And once targeted to a managed server, the managed server will create a JMS server object which will behave according to whatever configuration it has.
Right.
But there is a difference between a JMS service and any other service provided by WebLogic. JMS service is unique in this front. What is that property which is unique, that makes JMS unique compared to any other service that WebLogic provides? Now, WebLogic provides mail session. We have not touched that. We'll touch that. It provides JNDI, it provides JTA, it provides clustering, it provides security, it provides so many things, right?
Right.
So it also provides JMS feature, but this JMS service stands out from the other services in a way that the JMS server is a pinned service. When I say P-I-N-N-E-D, pinned service, I mean a data source. Can you create a data source ORCL1, ORCL2 and target it to a cluster, yes or no?
Yes.
You can. Okay. You can create any service and target it to a cluster, but a JMS server can be targeted strictly to one WebLogic server instance only. It cannot be targeted to a cluster.
Okay.
Okay, it cannot be targeted to multiple servers. If not a cluster, not even multiple servers. It has to be targeted only to a single server.
Okay.
So one thing is confirmed, that this managed server cannot have two JMS servers. It has to have one JMS server. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one.
Hold on. This is one point. The other point is, a managed server can have only one JMS server, a managed server can have two JMS servers. And the second thing is, a JMS server can have two managed servers, or it has to have only one managed server. Are these statements the same or are they different?
I would say they are same in a way. They are same. What I'm saying is that JMS can only be targeted to only one managed server.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know the other way around. One managed server can have.
Yeah. Can a single managed server be targeted to two JMS servers?
I think maybe. I'm just guessing.
But are these two conditions different?
Yeah. Then they are different. Yeah.
They are different, right?
If my server can have multiple JMS servers, then they are different.
Right. It's like Ganesh can eat a packet of chips, only one packet of chips. Okay, Ganesh can eat a packet of chips. Now, does this also mean that that packet of chips can only be eaten by Ganesh and nobody else? No, right?
Right.
It does not mean that. Okay, it does not restrict that chips only to be eaten by Ganesh. But there is a condition that only Ganesh can eat only that chips. He cannot eat any other chips. But that does not mean that chips cannot be eaten by more than one person. Only it need not just be eaten by Ganesh. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
It's like Ganesh only eats green vegetables. Okay, for example, he only eats green.
Okay, so what it comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah, so what it comes down to, JMS can be used as a broadcast. So one JMS can be targeted to many different managed servers. One managed server can only listen from one of the JMS, not like 10 different JMS.
I think you're saying it the other way around.
The other way around.
And so managed server can have multiple JMS servers assigned to it.
Okay.
But one JMS server can only be targeted to one managed server.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this MS1, it can have JMS server 1, JMS server 2, JMS server N, whatever. But JMS server 1 cannot be targeted to MS2. Right, Ganesh?
Okay, clear.
Okay.
Okay, so in technical terms, we call this such a service as a pinned service.
Pinned service. Okay.
P-I-N-N-E-D. Okay, just note it down so that you remember. Now, this JMS server is the server basically, which is nothing but a set of Java classes which will be loaded by the managed server's JVM. Okay, what it will do is it will create a repository, or it will store the messages that the sender and the receiver are communicating, you know, they are chatting. So all the messages will get stored by the JMS server and then forwarded to the receiver and whatever. But you know, this is the resting place basically, the JMS server.
Okay.
So what we will have is a a file store as such. Okay, file store, a JDBC store, you can have that.
Okay.
So we will have a file store or the JDBC store. We have it here. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say this is a file store. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. This is where it will store the messages. Now, the precondition is that nobody is allowed to talk to the JMS server directly. What if here is the sender? Okay. Let me just draw the sender. Okay, here. This is the person in the internet who wants to send the message. Okay, and here is the receiver. Okay. Now the whole point is, here's the sender, here's the receiver. Both the sender and the receiver or anybody in the world cannot talk to the JMS server directly. What they need is, they will have to go through something called as sub-module. It's called a sub-module.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to communicate with the JMS server, most welcome, but just go through the sub-module. Okay, communicate with it using the sub-module. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So okay. So with that said, let's, before we, you know, this is going to grow very complex. I should not say very complex, but it will go complex. So before we further proceed on this, let's get this thing ready. Okay.
Okay.
Amit, you can please start setting up the JMS server.
Okay.
Now listen, one more thing before you start. Okay.
Okay.
Give me back the presenting rights.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. So the JMS server. Now, had it been a managed server, the managed server can directly write to a file store, right? Because we created a persistent store and targeted it directly to the managed server, right?
Right.
But here is a JMS server. So the JMS server uses something called as a connection factory. Okay, it uses something called as a connection factory. I'm just drawing that.
Okay.
It's very interesting. It doesn't allow me to do anything with it. It's okay. Hold on. Use my keyboard. So guys, this is the connection factory. So you need the connection factory. I'm just going to write, yeah, in order to communicate, for the JMS server to communicate with the file store. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it and details around it, you'll slowly understand. Okay. We will configure this, whatever you see right here, onto the WebLogic server. Please proceed.
Okay.
Okay. So going back to our one-to-many logic, one JMS server that we will create can only point to one managed server. So if we have in our system 4 managed servers, that means we will need to create 4 or 5, depending on how many managed servers we have, that many JMS servers.
Yes. No, you can have 100 JMS servers. What's the problem?
No, but one can only point to one managed server. So we want one JMS server to every managed server we have in our system. Then we will need that many JMS servers at least.
At least, yes.
Yeah.
You're right. So, okay, you created a JMS server, right?
Right.
Okay. Now do one thing. Click on the JMS server 0.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me back the control.
Okay. Yeah, you have it.
Yeah. Okay. So we created this JMS server, and did it ask for the file store? Yes or no?
It did.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it asked for the managed servers as well.
Yeah,
right? The target. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have got the JMS server, we got the file stored, we got the managed server done. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what is left is the connection factory, the sub module.
Right. Yeah.
And then in the last we'll have the sender and receiver use this entire system.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now basically when the sender sends the data, it's a sub module via which it will communicate with the JMS server, and it will be the sub module which will use the connection factory in order to set data into the file store. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So go back to your screen.
Okay. So does this mean that JMS can only use file store, not a JDBC store?
It can use the JDBC store.
Okay. Because I only saw the file store option. Maybe because I don't know. Okay. So system module 1. Do you have to specify?
You can give any. No, just say next.
Next. Okay.
Okay. Now you have to bear in mind that a JMS module will be a subset of the system module. If you did not understand, then try to relate it to what we already know. A managed server will be a set of a managed server will be a subset of a cluster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because a cluster will have at least more than one managed servers.
Right.
So the managed server is part of the cluster. Similarly, the JMS modules in my diagram, whatever you saw, will be part of the will be a subset of the system module. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And what is that system module?
Okay. Okay. I'll tell you. Help me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is sub module, right?
Yeah.
Now if I create a sub module and I target the sub module for this JMS server, which is of course in turn targeted to MS1. So you see, look at the arrow. Let me just draw the arrow. Shoots out from here to here, and then from here to the managed server, of course. Right? JMS server is targeted to the managed server, isn't it?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can have another submodule. You don't know what a submodule is, but eventually you'll learn. But anyways, you can have another submodule which can be targeted to another JMS server for MS2.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you can have a third submodule which is targeted to the JMS server 3.
Right.
And the third module can also be targeted to JMS server 1. See, I told you the JMS server is a print service, but is a submodule a print service? No.
Okay.
Okay. So a submodule can be targeted to more than one JMS server, absolutely fine. But what I'm saying is, if a submodule like this is targeted to JMS server 1, which will only be targeted to a single managed server, and you've got JMS server 2, which is maybe targeted to another managed server, JMS server 3 which is targeted to another managed server. Okay.
Okay.
So the system module should contain all the WebLogic managed servers in its target, which will internally be targeted by the individual sub modules. So if sub module 1 is targeted to JMS server 1 which is targeted to managed server 1, and sub module 2 is targeted to JMS server 2 which is targeted to managed server 2, and you intend to use both these sub modules, then you will have to keep both these sub modules inside a system module, and the compulsion would be the system module will have to be targeted to both managed server 1 and managed server 2. Why? Because the sub modules that it is going to contain are going to eventually get targeted to JMS servers, which eventually are going to get targeted to managed server 1 and to managed server 2. So you cannot have a system module targeted to only managed server 1, and inside the system module the subset will be the sub modules. You can create 10 sub modules to target to JMS servers for 10 different managed WebLogic managed servers. No, because the sub module is targeted only to a single managed server, you can only have, just because the system module is targeted only to a single managed server, you can only have the sub modules inside them which are targeted to only a single, the same managed server that the system module is targeted to. Did you understand the point?
Wait a second.
Almost. I think let's do it, and then maybe we'll get more clear.
Okay. Yeah. Before that, you mentioned submodule can target to more than one JMS server.
Yes.
So a JMS server can only target to only one managed server.
Yes.
So now why do we show submodule inside one managed server? Because if we keep submodule out of the box, that submodule can be used to target to JMS server 1 and JMS server 2. So submodule actually comes out of the box when JMS server
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. And then maybe I don't know what will be the need to have more than one submodule. If one submodule can be targeted to all the JMS servers out there, I don't know the reason why we will need more than one submodule.
Okay. You would eventually understand why. Okay.
Okay.
Because each submodule has its own feature. So if you want 2 features, you need to have 2 submodules.
Okay. Because we want multiple features. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see what are the features of JMS. Okay. Let's go back to Amir's screen.
Okay. So I'm trying to create now a JMS module.
Module. Yes.
Yeah. So should I?
Before you create a JMS module, I said a JMS module is a subset of a system module. Didn't I say that?
Yeah.
So when you are trying to create a JMS module, it will stop you and say, my friend, first create a system module, then do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, so where is the system module? Or should I go back?
No, you create a JMS module, it will force you. Don't worry.
Okay.
See the first screen, it says system module.
So, yeah. And you can only have one system module per WebLogic instance, you said?
No, I didn't say anything about the system module.
So how many system module can you have?
You can have as many.
Okay, so should I press next?
And a system module can be targeted to as many WebLogic servers. Okay. So I want to ask Amir, when you are keeping the system module and targeting it to only MS1, it means that if you are going to create 10 JMS modules or sub-modules, whatever you call it, you will only target it to that JMS server which is pinned to MS1. Is that what you're going to do?
No, I'm just not sure. I click JMS modules, and here I see JMS system module. So maybe this is something
I told you, right? I told you a JMS module cannot exist. It's like, can you have a schema without a database?
No, you can't.
No, right?
Right.
First you need to have a database, and within them you can. Can you have a table without a schema?
No, you can't.
No. So same way, you cannot have a JMS module without a system module.
Okay, so can I just target this module to all the servers in the cluster?
So to answer this question, I ask you another question.
Okay.
You want your JMS module to target to JMS server which is targeted to
MS1.
only a single managed server, or you want JMS modules to be targeted to many managed servers or all the managed servers, different managed servers? If that is the requirement, then automatically the system module also has to be targeted to all the managed servers, because I said a JMS module is a subset of the system module. Makes sense?
Okay.
Okay.
So
and
if
next time when Amir try to create another JMS module, it should not ask to create another JMS system module if we decide to use the same system module next time.
Yes. Okay. I rest assured. Don't worry.
Okay. So I'm gonna select all of them.
So this is not all of them. You missed 3 and 5.
Okay.
No, I mean, do you want them on 3 and 5? It's your wish.
No, I just pick all of them, and then we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. It's always good, pick all of them so that you will not face problem creating JMS modules, because the modules will anyways be a subset of this, and this is targeted to all the managed servers.
All managed
servers. So you close your eyes and create JMS modules, it will definitely be a subset. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now it says, do you want to create a JMS resource? Which is
resource.
This is nothing but the sub module that I was talking about. Okay.
Okay.
This is nothing but the sub module. So you want to create it, fine. Otherwise, you can, if you don't check the checkbox, you can still do it from the console later on. It's your wish.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
So let's do it separately.
Okay. So it's a finish.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have a system module.
Yeah.
Activate the changes.
Yeah.
And now click on the JMS module.
Yeah, I'm here.
Now it will not ask you for a new system module. You can, my friend, use the existing system module that you have. Just a cancel.
Okay. So I click here.
Click on, yes. Why don't you create a module inside this? Why you want to create a new system module?
I see. Okay, got it.
Okay. Just, had you click on that checkbox, you would have come here directly. But anyways.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, guys, we are creating what you have seen in the diagram. Okay. Right. See, I said there are many features, right? Right. Ganesh, you said why not use this single sub module? Okay. Why to use so many sub modules? So see, each of these is a sub module, and each has a different feature.
And we can only pick one because this is a radio button, so you can only pick one.
Yes, you can only pick one at a time. But so I said you need a connection factory, remember? Yeah. So let's first create a connection factory and give it to, probably all the servers, all the managed servers.
Okay. But just a second, it still says, okay. I got confused with the system module and JMS system. Yeah, JMS system module and...
It's a resource now.
But this is a system, resource, yeah.
This is a when it says resource, it is nothing but a sub-module in the diagram that we made.
Okay.
Right. I call it a sub-module. You can call it a resource or whatever. Okay.
Okay. So should we give it a name?
Give a nice name, because you're going to use this in the chat program.
So what name should I pick?
You're targeting this. Wait. You're targeting this submodule to a particular managed server. So let's use that managed server name in the submodule.
CF you can write for connection factory.
CF.
Just give it small, right? Why you give capital?
But this is connection factory name, not the JMS module name.
It is JMS module.
This connection factory is a JMS module. Any sub module is basically a JMS module. You can call it, I said you can call it JMS module, you can call it a sub module or whatever. So connection factory is also a sub module, okay?
Okay, connection factory is also a sub module.
Sub module. Yeah, we'll give this name and we'll proceed. We are okay with it, okay?
Okay, so exclusive is good.
Yeah, just leave it as it is. We'll see if we can find time to explore. Okay.
Should I uncheck the distributed?
No, it's okay. Let it be.
Okay. So we'll target it to all of them.
Yeah, you've targeted it to all of them. Okay. Or listen, hold on. Can you click on advanced targeting and just see what it says?
Okay. Okay. Sub deployment. We'll have to create.
Yes. Hold on. What is a sub deployment, guys? This is a new term that is coming in, which we have not discussed.
Okay.
But don't understand sub deployment has anything to do with JMS. It is something other than JMS. It is something very, very different. Okay, like a file store. We created a file store, right? But we are using it in JMS. But is it something very much related to JMS? No. You can anyways use a file store and use it for any reason you want, right?
Right.
Even if you don't have a JMS. Make sense? Similarly, a sub deployment, consider it in a way that it has nothing to do with JMS. Okay. A sub deployment is a grouping of either JMS servers or WebLogic servers. So like you have a cluster, when you give the cluster name, it gets deployed to all the managed servers which are part of the cluster, right? Similarly, a sub deployment is also a grouping of basically a managed servers, or it's a grouping of a set of JMS servers. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So rather than selecting all the JMS servers, now if you get 10 JMS servers, clicking 10 times, you can create a sub deployment and give all the 10 servers to that sub deployment. And next time when you want to target to all the 10 servers, you just select the sub deployment rather than clicking 10 times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just a logical grouping of JMS servers.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to do that sub deployment? Maybe no, not at this time, or maybe yes. Okay. Okay. You can create a sub deployment, but what I want you to do is I'll appreciate if you can create JMS servers for all the managed servers. Okay.
Okay, sure.
And one thing that I want to tell you is, you can just click finish here. Listen to this very carefully. Some JMS module or sub modules, okay, whatever you call it, can be targeted directly to a WebLogic server, and some has to be targeted only to a JMS server. So you have to explore each JMS module one by one.
I see.
And see which you can target to the JMS server and which you can target directly to a managed server. For example, I ask you, Amir, a connection factory, what is it? So your first answer should be, it's a JMS module or it is a sub module, whatever you want to call it. Okay?
Okay.
What is your second answer? It is part of a system module called as system module -0. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Then third question is, this connection factory is a JMS module is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Now, is this JMS module part of is it targeted to a WebLogic server or is it targeted to a JMS server?
WebLogic server.
Okay, so yes, this is a sub module.
I didn't understand the answer of this last question you asked. This JMS.
Okay, now Ganesh, do you remember virtual host?
Virtual host. Virtual host. No, I forgot.
Internal, external.com, internal.com. I mean, see guys, if you have done the practicals, okay, if you have done the assignment, you would be very comfortable going forward. That's what I'm trying to make you guys understand. Please do the Otherwise, it will be difficult on my part and your part to go move forward. But anyways, now I'll have to think about any other example that I can. Okay, now for example, Ganesh, you remember clusters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can deploy an application to a managed server, or can you deploy an application to a cluster?
Both.
Both. Same way. You can target a JMS module, or you can call it a sub-module. I'm always repeating it, but guys, I believe you should now be, very confident about what I'm talking.
Yeah, we understand.
So you can create a JMS module. So like your CF, which is Connection Factory, is also JMS. You can target to a JMS module either to a WebLogic server directly or to a JMS server. Okay. But some JMS modules say no. You cannot target me to a JMS server. I will only get targeted to a WebLogic server. Some modules say no, you cannot target me to a WebLogic server. I will only get targeted to a JMS server. And some modules say I will get targeted to both.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
it's basically your call, but it doesn't matter anyways.
Now I see there is a JMS server that we created. I don't know how we created WebLogic server as such.
Well, hello, Ganesh. All these are WebLogic servers, managed servers. These are all WebLogic servers.
Okay. Okay.
So we're referring to the managed servers.
Okay, managed servers. Okay, so we are using different term.
Yeah, so basically the JMS module can either be targeted to a WebLogic server, or it can be targeted to a JMS server, which internally, of course, gets targeted to a WebLogic server. My friend, everything in the end of the day gets targeted to a WebLogic server.
Right.
Even if you create a data source, it gets targeted to a WebLogic server. You
Correct.
create a cluster, it gets targeted to a WebLogic server. You create virtual host, it gets targeted to a WebLogic. Everything is internally, because WebLogic server is nothing but a JVM that will eventually load the classes and the services that it provides. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Please create JMS servers for all of the servers.
Okay. Okay, I have an error here. JMS server.
Okay, so the file store that you use, is that file store working on MS2?
I see, it's not, I guess.
So,
okay.
Okay,
that's so that's it. Oh, okay. So let me just do that then.
So first create file stores for each of the...
So can I not target this to multiple? Perhaps I can, okay. Only one at a time. Okay.
I think you can. Just check if you can.
Well, it only you
can't.
Say,
you
yeah,
can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. You can. Okay. You can. So it's more like the print service that we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna create multiple file stores. Should I call it MS2? File store for MS2, so that we know.
Come again?
I'm gonna call it file store MS2.
Yes.
So that we know which one is target to
yes,
which.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, MS2 is here, so I'm gonna go here. Okay, file store.
Meanwhile, let me ask you, how many of you are interested in a training for video editing?
Video editing?
It's like...
Yeah, I actually I just created recently one video for my daughter's recital, class recital, the dance recital.
Okay.
I actually made a short movie. I used Adobe, the latest Adobe software to make movies.
Are you talking about Adobe After Effects or
no
Premiere?
Premiere Pro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just learned that I just learned that you know they had what is it called, tutorial or something on their own page, Adobe page.
Okay.
I just followed that, and then few people here or there, 1 or 2 questions I asked people who use it before.
Okay.
But I do photography locally over here.
Okay.
Yeah. But I never did editing. That was my first editing as such.
Okay.
So if you know any people over there who can take the editing job, and you know, I have lots of pictures that you know I take here, and if somebody is willing to pay for their editing, I can you know outsource it to people you know.
Okay. What sort of pictures are there? Is it some designing or some
modeling, fashion? I'm mainly into modeling and fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, but eventually I'll get into the weddings and yeah, weddings eventually, the local weddings.
Okay. Let me know once you're done, Amar.
Yeah, I don't see them first or so. Where did you go? Let's see. Stars. Okay, I named it. Okay, let me just rename it. I hope I can rename. Can I? No. Okay, let me delete this. I can't rename a persistent store, right?
Yeah, you cannot rename them. You'll have to delete and recreate.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you can do that through the config.xml, but the web console does not allow you.
Okay. Okay, I have 5 JMS servers. The first one is targeted to MS1, so I just named it 00, so that's what it is.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And now create a sub deployment. See if you can create a sub deployment as well.
Okay.
I'm talking about sub deployments. It's just a grouping, right?
Yeah, and
so just click. Yeah, just click on JMS modules.
Okay, just modules. Click here. Open it.
Click on a JMS module, and there would be an option of sub deployment. Do you see that? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sub deployment for MS1. Is that okay? Or shall I all small there?
Yeah, just sub deployment. SD is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I create 5 sub deployments or 1 is enough?
What is a sub deployment? A grouping of servers, right?
I see. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay.
So there has to be one, right? A cluster.
Okay. Okay. So it's a grouping of JMS servers.
You can create. So go back. Do one thing. Go back.
Okay.
Go back. Yeah. And just say sub deployment JMS. JMS. Okay. Just say next and select all the managed servers. All the JMS servers. All the JMS servers.
Okay.
Okay. Finish. Okay, and then just go and create one more sub deployment with all the managed servers.
Okay.
MS, yes. Okay, finish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, come back to the JMS module. You created the connection factory already.
Yeah.
Now click on the connection factory, see if you can change the target for the connection factory.
Okay.
Yes. Sub deployment, select sub deployment.
Okay.
Yeah, you can try to choose any one of them. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's okay. It allowed me to pick JMS.
Yeah, to all of them, right? The same connection factor.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's create one more JMS module.
Okay.
Let's create a queue. Now for today, guys, I'll be discussing only a queue and a topic. Okay.
Okay.
Probably only a queue. Topic and the other JMS module will cover in the next section. Okay.
Okay.
Say next. Okay, you can give any name. JNDI, make it simple. Yeah, Q1, something like that. Okay.
Oh, let me just Q1. Let's call it Q1.
Your wish. Yeah, that's fine. Say next.
Sub deployment should be JMS.
You want this queue to, I said, remember Ganesh, you asked a sub module or a JMS module, can it be targeted to more than one JMS servers or more than one managed servers? Yes,
yeah.
It can be. For here, for example, here you can select any sub deployment. Can you select all the managed servers rather than JMS servers? See if it goes ahead. Say finish. Does it go ahead?
I press in MS and it's listing all the JMS servers.
That means the connection factory allowed you to select all the
JMS
WebLogic servers. Or JMS servers, also the WebLogic servers. I'm talking about the connection factory, not the queue.
Okay.
Connection factory, right? Before that, you selected You selected JMS, I agree. But had you selected only managed servers, it would have still worked.
Okay.
So a connection factory is a JMS module that can be targeted to both
of them. Okay.
The JMS server as well as to WebLogic server. But a queue that you created right now is a JMS module that can only be targeted to
JMS.
a JMS server, not to a WebLogic server.
Because if I change
Does that
here,
make sense?
Yeah. So no matter what I choose here, it only lists all the JMS servers.
Yes. Yes. And
okay. What's the reason? Logical reason for that? That queue can only be targeted.
Because I think
if I know the function of queue, then I think it will be much clear.
Yes, exactly. So just select any one of the JMS servers because it will not allow you to select more than one JMS server.
Yeah.
And you will eventually understand why, okay, once you know queue. Activate changes.
Okay, we have some error.
Okay, what does it say?
Q1 module 0 JMS server of name MS1 could not be found. Why?
Hold on. Let me. While attempting to create, hold on. Okay. While attempting to create, can you maximize it, please? Okay. While attempting to create a destination Q1 in module system 0, system module 0, the JMS server of the name MS1
could not be.
Yeah. So did you select JMS or did you select MS?
I selected JMS.
Are you sure? Go back. Targets.
Okay. Targets or sub deployments?
This is some module, right? No, listen. Okay, you cannot go back this way, right?
I should be able to. No.
No, listen.
Okay.
Okay. See, you selected MS, my friend, not JMS. Do you see that? For Q1, see the sub deployment that you have selected.
Sub deployment.
Okay, Amir.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you have selected managed server in the sub deployment, while the target is a JMS server 0.
Oh, okay.
So I told you that the queue cannot be targeted to a managed server. It has to be targeted to JMS server. So you'll have to select SD.
Okay.
So undo all changes and do it all over again.
Okay. So I'm go here and I'm gonna JMS Connection factory. No. What?
Create a new, in the other connection, create a new.
Oh, that one disappeared. Okay. Didn't we create a queue? Okay, no, that was the field. Okay, okay, got it.
No, you undid all the
Yeah,
changes,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah. I felt a little lost here. Okay, so no, next. JMS. Why I was confused was that no matter what I pick from here, it was still showing me all the JMS. So I thought I can pick any. Doesn't matter, regardless of what I pick here. Okay, so I was wrong. Okay, so finish. Yeah. Okay, got it.
I think you are confident now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Queues can only belong to JMS servers.
Okay, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, are we all set to do our first chatting program? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, everything is ready?
I hope so.
Yeah. I'll email you the sender and the receiver. In that diagram, remember there was triangles, 2 triangles for the sender and the receiver?
Right.
You have the connection factory, you've got the JMS module set up, you've got the JMS server set up. Now, only thing that is left is the sender and the receiver program, which I am emailing it to you guys.
Okay.
We have Amir here. Reply all. I'm replying all and attaching both the Java codes.
Okay.
Okay, please download the attachments. Amir, open the code and look at the entries it has. Now, before Amir, you would modify that. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Let me save both of them. Okay.
Okay, Ganesh, now instead of sub-module here, can I rub this thing and mention a queue, because we created a sub-module which is actually a queue. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You agree, right?
I don't know how that relates, that the queue we created and how we, because there was in console there was a separate function there to create a submodule, and is that the same function we use to name it as a queue?
You will shortly see what's happening. Okay, once I think we will be through this example, it will be more clear.
Okay. But in console we use because there was a create submodule, there was a create JMS server. If we created a queue and we are replacing that submodule with the queue, does that mean we use the same function?
It's not a replacing. We just pick the type for that submodule to be a queue. You know, there were so many radio buttons.
Yes, there were different. There were different features to it.
So for one we picked the connection factory. For the other one we picked queue. So queue is the one. Yeah. So we're just going to use the queue here.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, a network flicker. But anyways, Ganesh, is a queue nothing but a JMS module? Yes or no?
Yeah. I may just clarify that. So when we created a submodule, we used one feature as connection factory, another feature as queue.
Yeah. So basically, a connection factory, a queue, a topic. These are nothing but you can call it submodule or you can call it a JMS module. These are nothing but JMS modules, right? Okay. So I rubbed the JMS module here and I put queue instead because we created a queue. Is that fine?
Yes. Yes.
Now you can change this submodule. You can use any other submodule, but each submodule has its own features. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So topic will be also a JMS module. Topic.
Yes. Yes. There is quota. There is sort. There is so many JMS modules.
Okay.
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 So a queue is a JMS module which what it does, remember, a queue is something that helps one-to-one communication. Simple. Okay. A queue is one-to-one communication. A topic is another JMS module which gives one-to-many communication.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similarly, you've got uniform distributed queue, uniform distributed topic, then you have quota. You have so many JMS modules. Each will. Hold on. There is some ad that played very loud, okay, and I was like, who's speaking at my back? But anyway, I couldn't speak, it was so loud. But anyway, these guys, have some small ad that plays, without your notice. It's bad actually. But anyways, so these are all JMS modules, guys. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So a queue is a JMS module that will allow one-to-one communication, which means when the sender will send a message saying hello, the queue will store that message through a connection factory via a JMS server which is targeted to manage server 1 into the file store. So you see the whole cycle.
Yeah.
Message comes here via it contacts JMS server 1, which contacts the managed server 1, which puts the message inside this file.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And similarly, when the receiver, okay, here's the receiver. See, the receiver, it cannot talk to the file store or the JMS server directly. It will also have to go to the
queue.
Let me just draw this. Yeah, it will, like this guy talks to the queue, and this guy will also need to talk to the queue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if it wants to read, the receiver wants a message, if you go to the queue, you go to JMS server 1, contact manage server 1, contact the file store, pick that message to the receiver. Now once the receiver receives the message will be deleted from the file store. Why? Because it is one-to-one communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now Ahmed, please proceed. How will the sender come to know that this is the queue that I need to send the message to? Using the JNDI.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait. Can you go back to his diagram again? I just want to understand how the message was picked up by the receiver.
From the queue.
Right. But then receiver made that effort, right? Receiver actually, okay. Yeah, let's see that diagram one more time. Okay. So the receiver came to queue and it asked for, okay, let me have my messages, and it contacted to the managed server, in a way to the JMS server, and then contacted the connection factory, file store, and picked up its message.
Yes.
So the sender put the message on queue and receiver picked up the message from the queue.
Right. So guys, listen, if somebody else is also, there is another sender and a receiver, for example. Okay. So for example, there is another sender and there is another receiver. Okay, no harm, right?
Yeah.
So this sender may use another queue to put the message into the file store, and this receiver will use that particular queue. So it's basically, a queue is basically a section over here. It creates a section where it will store the messages. So anybody who puts the messages to this queue, whoever reads this queue will get that message. And if you don't want the message for this sender to go to this receiver, put it in another queue. So this receiver does not know about the other queue, so it will not get that message.
Okay.
But the more important point which you should ask and think about here is not this, but actually once the message is read by the receiver, the message gets deleted is one-to-one queue. But in one-to-many, what will happen? Instead of queue here, you will have a topic over here. But when the sender sends the message will sit. Even if the receiver receives the message will still remain over here. So if there are 10 receivers, all will be able to receive the message. But if you have 10 receivers listening to this queue, only one receiver will get the message because it is one-to-one communication. Once the first receiver gets a message, the message will be deleted from the file store, the other receivers will not get it. This is the difference between a queue and a topic. And then there are many other, we will discuss all of them.
Okay.
So how we can restrict, are there different types of receiver? How we can say that this message was this receiver 1 or receiver 2? And who is supposed to pick it up?
They connect to the queue.
Depending upon, who's connecting to the queue. If receiver 1 or receiver 2, if they are connecting to the queue where the sender sends the message, the chances that both of them get the message is high.
Okay.
Okay. But Ganesh, I don't want you to step into this right now, because when we do security, we can put a username and password before reading the message.
Okay.
But that is something in the future.
Okay.
Amir, you can proceed.
Okay. Okay, so now I have to create, okay, yeah, I have the files. Okay. Copy somewhere.
So that chat program is a perfect example that we three are chatting. Either you are sending one message directly to Ganesh or one message directly to Amir, or you are broadcasting message to both of them.
Yes, so that's the difference between a queue and a topic.
Right.
Queue send.
Ganesh, when do we see virtual host on your system?
Virtual host, I'll get onto it today.
Okay. Complete all the
Right
assignments.
after.
Okay, there you have. Yeah.
Right.
The reason and when are we getting the testing, basically the what do you call that, certification questions?
Right, I was talking to Amir, but he's saying try to find something that is free, and the testing has value of like $40 or $60, something like that.
Is that per exam or whatever, or is it for a certain number of days, or?
I think it is limited by number of days.
I see.
I think they should be free available as well. Somebody who has testing would have uploaded it himself.
Yeah, I did a lot of research actually, try to find that, but no success yet.
Okay, I've compiled both of them, but can we? I don't know. So what next?
Okay. Open two different terminals and run them in two different terminals. Set the Java environment. Set the environment for WebLogic. But anyways, run the first one. You have changed the connection factory as well as the QJNDI, right?
Change mean?
Have you changed it? The JNDI that you have for the connection factory and the JNDI you have for the queue, have you changed that?
No, sorry, no. Okay, queue send.
Please open two different sessions for sender and receiver and please run.
Okay, no, I have to change the JNDI stuff first. Okay, queue name is Q1. and factory name was CF. CF. That's all right. Let's do, and then should be okay.
Once you have compiled it, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, now listen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're working on the queue receive. Okay, just work
Yeah.
on that. Once you've compiled it, don't run it. Ask me and then run.
Okay.
Okay, or you can run it. It's okay because it has a prompt as well.
Okay, so let me just run queue send here,
and you will have to give the name of the managed server, I guess, which has the queue, which the queue is targeted to. T3 colon the IP port of the managed server which the queue is targeted to.
okay, so let me just look at the code. Then I didn't change anything. T3. Is there a parameter that I have to pass when I run this program?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I see. Oh.
You'll have to pass it as a parameter.
Okay. So it should ask me what should I do.
Even if you press enter, it will show you the
Yeah, that's what it's
the help basically. How do you execute it?
Yeah, it says WebLogic URL. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your managed server name.
Okay. So this is the receive.
So if it is MS1, give the MS1 T3 colon.
Okay. So T3 colon WLS. This is a managed server one's URL or the, I guess one.
No,
right?
the server which the queue is targeted to. You have to give that system.
Okay, let me see. I think we targeted the queue to JMS. Yeah, 0.
You can just click on JMS module, open the queue and see the targets.
Yeah. That's what we wanted. Yeah, MS0, JMS0, which is targeted to MS1. So okay.
Okay.
And 7103. So no. It couldn't resolve the connection factory.
Okay, so are you sure the connection factory JNDI is what you've given?
Yeah, CF.
CF?
Yeah, and Q1. And
so is the CF targeted to JMS server 0? Yes, it is.
let me show you. Yeah, JMS server 0, JMS server 0.
Okay, hold on. So let me look at the URL, please.
Okay.
Let me look at the URL that you passed. Are you sure it is WLS1 or WLS2?
No, it's 1. MS1 is running on WLS1.
7103, can you show me?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, 7103. So port number is correct.
Hold on. Click on 7103. Okay, click on MS1. Show me the host name. 103.
Sorry, where is the...
Show me the host name.
Sorry, I don't know where would that be.
Yeah. No, that's listen address here. 192.168.2.151.
Yeah.
Can you try just giving the IP address there?
Okay.
192.168.2.151. Colon 7103.
Yeah, same error. Unable to resolve CF.
Okay, see, whenever you face such issues, I told you, it's not able to find the JNDI name CF on manage server 1.
So
go to manage server 1. No, you go to manage, yeah, you restart of course, but go to manage server 1 and click on view JNDI tree and see if you find that.
I see.
CF.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see CF here. I see Q1 here, but
exactly. Yeah, so it needs a restart basically. You see, this is a bug again. Okay.
Okay. So let's restart.
Close it, restart, and then first check the JNDI. If it shows in the JNDI, then we are happy to move ahead. Otherwise, we will not.
Okay.
And if it does not show the JNDI, then what we are going to do is we will change the target of the connection factory. Instead of JMS server 0, we will change it to MS1. Would that be fine?
Yeah, should be okay. Yeah, definitely.
Or you can do it right now as well, rather than restarting.
Okay. Or you wanna? Yeah, I already restarted. So let's see what happens now. I already restarted.
If you see it in the JNDI, good. Otherwise, just change the target for the connection factory.
Okay.
To point it to
MS1. Okay.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah, still in progress.
We're about to depart in 5 minutes. Okay, click on manage server 1. It's okay, I understand, still starting, but just I want you to click on the manage server 1.
Okay.
Go to view JNDI, see if the JNDI has been populated, because it does other things as well, right? Okay, so the JNDI has not been populated.
Yeah, because maybe it's not there yet.
Day by day it's becoming slow.
Yeah, I don't know why. Although I have everything on the SSD.
SSD as in?
The solid state drive.
What does that mean or signify?
It's a flash drive. It doesn't have the mechanical part, so it's just like a pen drive with much more capacity, and it's faster. Yeah, I remember it took 3 minutes yesterday.
I think, okay, just click on the server and go to JNDI. Maybe the status, may not reflect.
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No. Sure, what's happening? Okay, nice running. Just in time. Okay, task completed. JNDI. Yeah. Okay, it's on MS1. Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah. Now try running the program.
Okay. Yeah. Message to sender. Hello.
And go and look at the receiver.
Yeah. We received hello message here.
Okay, they can be on a different system. Now you can run it from a different you know, like WLS4, WLS5, any server in a network. On the internet also you can use it on the internet.
Okay.
Go to the cyber cafe, whichever has, you know, a network connection to your MS1. You can send the message from your country, I can receive it from my country, unless and until we both are pointing to the same managed service.
Okay, got it.
This is how, this is like real-time chatting.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll discuss topic, just keep everything ready. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll discuss topic in the next class, guys.
Okay.
I think you have substantial amount of work. When I'm saying substantial, every day dedicate 4 or 5 hours, and you would still may not be able to complete all the assignment, but then I expect you to do that. So before we come for the next assignment, I want you guys to be completely renewed. I should not know that, you know, you're the same people we've been, you know, going on with the training, you know.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, that is what you would be. You have ample time, you got a whole week to follow up, and maybe during the week, if I find time, I will pull you guys in for a session, but anyways, with the consent of you guys, so I'll drop you an email.
Okay, sure.
So guys, I'll try to depart. I hope you guys understood, and we saw real-time chatting, you saw the configuration. Sit down, relax, and don't worry about JMS. You can leave the topic altogether, not an issue. When we complete JMS, because we will have at least 12 more practicals on JMS.
Okay.
Like this was one, similar 12 more practicals. So by the time we complete all the practicals on JMS, you will be very comfortable with what JMS actually is. But apart from JMS, whatever we've done before, I want you guys to be more well-versed. You can put forward questions, queries in the email. To answer Amir's question, yes, WebLogic.xml is can be used to provide additional configuration and, you know, boost to an application. Okay, and yes, you being a WebLogic administrator should not shy off from the WebLogic.xml, as in if there's a suggestion needed around it, if you are asked about any attribute to achieve something, you should try to gain knowledge and you should help them, you know, overcome that. So it can be considered as your baby, basically. Okay. Being a WebLogic administrator. Does that answer your question? You have any other question?
Yeah, I think it does answer my question. So for every application that we deploy on WebLogic, we should ideally have a WebLogic.xml file.
Not ideally, I would not say that, but we can have. Yes, we can have. And as many applications do not want any feature of WebLogic.
Okay.
It's okay.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys. So we'll depart for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so let's start with the. You want to start with this one first?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just comment out these all. And I'm gonna comment this one. I believe this is this uses the default memory session persistence in memory.
Right, because that's what we specified in the WebLogic.xml.
Yeah.
And there was one thing. So this we tried with replicated JDBC and file store persisting this session.
Yeah.
There is a fourth one, which is there's a fourth one.
Yeah, let's first do this, and then we'll see what the fourth one is.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the output for all of them.
And the fourth one was in-memory replication.
Yeah. So this is this was taken over by GSG. Sorry, the MS1. I see the message here. And if we log in, we should see messages here. So it's add server validate and add is call, and we see session ID.
Right.
Right. And we can say whatever. And let's shut down MS1, because MS1 is the one that is serving the the requests right now. Yeah. So we're gonna go here. Let's shut it down. It's shut down. And we'll see some here. It's gone. Bye bye. Whatever.
Okay.
And let's go back here and see add now. I don't know what happened. Why this message coming here now? I don't know. Let's log in again. Yeah, MS1 is still alive. I shut it down.
Is that the MS1 log for sure?
I think so.
So we have MS1, MS2, and MS4.
Yeah, this should tell us which server it is. Is it 2? This is MS2 actually. Okay, so this log is from MS2, not 1. Okay, this is MS2 then. MS2 took over. It not took over, just it's still serving the requests. Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, now let me just stop the recording and we'll redo this, okay? Okay. I already pressed the stop recording button, so it's gonna create another session now. Okay, it's okay. So let's shut down everything and we'll restart.
Okay.
Yeah, my confusion is why is it not using this MS out?
Right, and that was also MS2, right?
Actually, it will be the whichever we start at the end. That will take over the output from. That will take over the NoHub.output file. What should I do? Should I remove NoHub? It's been working I mean, it has been working good so far. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let me just shut down again. I'm gonna start them from here. And then we'll see the correct output. Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. Now we should see both. See, now we see correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here is what is totally shut down. Okay. Okay, everything is back. So let's okay, so MS2 took over the request.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some background noise from your side. Is it some fan running or something?
Oh. Okay. I don't know. I took out I had my headphones on. I don't know. Sometimes they start making noise. Sometimes they go off. Or maybe internal fan. I don't know.
Probably, okay. Yeah, now it's much better. Okay. So let's go login. And we should see something here. So yeah, so what I did. And we're gonna go say add numbers. So before we press it. So since this is MS2, I'm going to shut down MS2 from here. So that you can see our session is basically replicated to some other server. Yeah, so MS1 took over the work and it returned us the result, which is this.
Mm-hmm.
So that concludes our first test, which is basically the same test that we originally did
Right.
a couple of days ago. So let's try now file store for persistence of session.
Right. And can you also show that file store that which we have created in console?
Yeah, okay, sure. So we have persistence store here and we have file store here.
Right.
Which points to this directory.
Right. And which server is it on?
I created this directory on all the servers.
Okay.
Because it's they are clustered. But it only allows you to pick one as a target, so I picked MS1.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see if now whichever server takes over the request, we'll see what happens in directory of the one who will take over from the server which will die, which we will
Okay.
kill.
So now let's first start all the servers because we shut down one server, right?
Yeah. So we shut down MS2.
And we want to redeploy because we updated the XML.
Yeah.
WebLogic.xml.
Yeah. Okay, so far so good. And our servers are back. So let's try logging in and see which server picks up. Okay. Okay, so this server picked up, which is MS1.
Right, and you can see the timestamp on the file store.
Yeah, let me see. It's 3:55. So I see a change in the file, in the, you know, the timestamp. This is the path that I provided in the file store.
Right, right.
And under the file store, it created a directory with the name of the application, which is session test. And if we go and see what's underneath, we're gonna see a whole bunch of directories. It's gonna keep on going. Maybe it's just some security thing. It doesn't. I don't know how it works actually. Anyway, so let's let's log in. So still MS2 is serving everything. MS1, sorry.
Oh, can you go to the browser? It's asking for user. No, it's dictating. Okay.
It's asking to give me some numbers. So before we press this, I'm gonna shut down MS1
because that's where the
because MS1 is being served. So I'm gonna shut down MS1. Okay, it's shut down. We'll see some messages here as well. See, you see the shutdown class that I wrote some time back. So message from that class. And I'll go back here and we'll say add now. Let's see what happens. So which guy took over actually? Do I have the right file open here? Yeah, okay, so MS2 basically took over, and coincidentally MS2 is also on the same server. So let's see if anything changed here. Okay, the timestamp is still 3:55. I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't change, but our session persistence using a file is working. File store. Okay.
Right.
So let's go back and start the one that we shut down. And now we will test the
JDBC store.
The JDBC store. Okay. So we're gonna go here back and comment out these two lines and uncomment these three lines. These three lines basically tell us what is the type of the store we're going to use, JDBC, and name of the data source pool, which is ORCL, and name of the table that we created in ORCL database and in Scott Tiger. So this is the table we created, and this is the information from previous test. I'm going to delete everything. See, so it says no rows, which means everything is gone. This table is empty right now. And after our test, we should see some data.
Can you show that ORCL data source that we created so we know where it is pointing, schema and all?
Sure. If you go to data sources, if you go to ORCL, this is our ORCL and it's targeted to this cluster. And where is the other information? Yeah, here's Scott Tiger, so it knows which user to log in as. This is the URL, this is the driver type, and this is the password, which is encrypted right now. Because once you create it, it just encrypts it. So
if it was wrong password, I can change it directly there, and next time when I open it, it will show it as encrypted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. We have empty table, see if all servers are back up. They are. Okay, so let's try logging in and see what happens. Okay, so again MS2 is the one who picked up the request. Login here. In the meantime, we can go back and query if we see if there is anything here. Not yet. And let's do some number here.
But it should have already inserted. It should have already inserted the session information in the table. So because you already logged in, right?
Yeah, I don't know when will that information end up in the database.
Okay.
I don't know how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe the transaction has already happened, but we won't see it until it is actually committed.
Right.
Yeah, it is made permanent. If it's not, we won't see it. Okay, so our request is being handled by MS2.
Okay.
So we'll go and shut down MS2 before we proceed. MS2, gonna shut it down. So MS2 is shut down, and let's see what happens now. Whoa. Okay, this time our test failed. Why is that?
Redeploy. Let's try to redeploy or check again one more time. WebLogic.xml is all correct. There is no.
Yeah, well, I just uncommented everything. It's the same thing as before. It's same
maybe
thing.
It's just matter of redeploying. Maybe.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah. Okay, before I do that, let me just shut down everything.
Yeah, instead of updating this time, let's try deleting the deployment and redeploy because we updated it once before and it didn't take it.
Sure, we can try. Yeah, we can do that too. Okay, everything is being shut down. Let's redeploy. Delete.
So WebLogic.xml is part of our session-based application.
Yeah. One item must be restarted. Okay, let's see what is it asking us to restart. System audio. Okay, we don't care about system audio. We're not using it. Okay. Everything is shut down. Let's go back here. Okay, everything is back. So let's try this. Okay, MS2 is active. Let's log in. So still is MS2. Let's see if anything is here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe
where the session is logged in from. It persisted the session information.
Yeah. So maybe the redeployment worked or something else. I don't know.
Right.
So let's go shut down MS2. And let's go check here. MS2 is shutting down. And let's see what happens now. That's better. No errors.
Right.
Okay. MS4 took over the work.
Okay.
Yeah, so that concludes our test. So weblogic.xml does handles this configuration.
Cool.
Yeah. So can you stop the recording now, or you want to test?
Yeah, just before that, he asked me to do that virtual
host.
Virtual host. Can you briefly, because you had it here, can you briefly explain me virtual hosts? And sometime whenever you have time, I know you have more than one VM now, and it will be long time to transfer all 3 VMs. But
yeah,
I would definitely, either another week or during the week, I would like to take your VM because it has everything all set, and everything that we have, it's here.
Okay. For the virtual host, I believe I sent you a document.
Right, you did. I'm going to try that now, but I'll just understand from you briefly what it is.
Okay. I may not be able to give you all the theory behind it.
Right. Yeah, just briefly. It was a long day already.
Yeah. No, it's okay. So we create an object called virtual host.
Okay.
In the environment, and we name it something, whatever we want to call it, external or something, and then we tell which server it is targeted to is MS1, right? And I mean that's about it for the object creation. In addition to this object,
what is the purpose? What is the purpose behind creating virtual hosts?
What I remember from Motashim is that we want to hide our WebLogic server, right? We don't want to expose our WebLogic server to the outside world. So what we do is we put something in front of our WebLogic server, which is the Apache web server. Okay. So the Apache web server will be the one that will be exposed to the outside world, and Apache web server will take the request and will pass on to the WebLogic application server, or our application running on the WebLogic application server, and then send back the request. And the other thing that happens is we hide the IP or the actual name of our server and the port, right? It's the server name and the port. So when we use virtual host, for example, here we are accessing this application through virtual host. So I'm not specifying any port number here, right? Let me see if I can access this using. Did I call it external or internal? External. I don't know if it's still working. No, I don't know why. Maybe because I don't have the application deployed to the virtual host. Deployments. Yeah, the deployment is not onto the virtual host. If you want, I can quickly try. Let me see if I can deploy the same application onto the virtual host and see if it works. Yeah. Sure. Okay. 2.
What was that name for? Session tester?
Well, it said that I'm already using this name, session test, so name it something else. We can't have two applications, yeah, two deployments
Right.
with the same name. Okay, so that's done.
So you have now 2 applications running, one on virtual host and one on
One,
cluster.
yeah, I think this is also running on the virtual host because I'm not specifying any port number here.
So can you show me console, what it shows in console right now? The application deployments.
Okay, it's still not working. So you want to say it again?
Console, what it shows in the deployments here. So there are 2 applications, right?
Yeah,
One
yeah.
is on virtual host and one is on targeted to cluster.
To the cluster, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why is not this working.
This is you needed a channel last time you mentioned.
Oh yeah, channel. But I think the channel should already be here. Okay, let me see. Virtual host is MS1. Protocols. Channels. Yeah, I have the channel here. Then why is it? I don't know. I also need to just revisit what I did last time.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see if I have the correct. It's on WLS1. Yeah, I have both.
So you can try another URL too, right? Internal.com and then.
No, I can't because I specified here in the virtual host that it will be external.
Oh, external only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Should I put just external without com? No. Okay, I have to revisit what I did.
Okay.
But this is also a good question. How is this working without port number? Is it going through Apache or something?
Yes. Because you didn't specify a port, so it's going through port number 80 of Apache.
Yeah. So then, what is the purpose of this name? It's not used. I don't know. I don't even remember what I put in my document.
Okay. Because it will default if we are not specifying. It should supposed to default to some port, right? Because it's running out of.
Port we already specified when we created the channel.
Okay.
We specified over there.
But you mentioned you were needed a channel, and Sheikh mentioned channel was not important. It should run.
Yeah. So when I removed the channel and tried without the channel, it didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it didn't work, right?
It didn't work. So then I put back the channel again, and then I tried, and then it worked. So I don't know. This test I did it on my other computer, so I have to check what I did over there. Maybe I have to put xml.com here. Oh, hold on. Yeah, maybe that's the mistake. Yeah, probably. Because this is something else. This is something that we actually missed last time. We don't need to, so I'm going to remove one. I don't know if I need to do that. What? Let's see if it makes any difference. Yeah. No. Maybe redeployment, or I don't really know. No. Let's redeploy.
So what it had to do with the JMS that he was teaching today, because that's when he asked me, do you know virtual host?
Maybe nothing direct, but you know, in virtual host, it's something that we created, but it's not visible to, like, the actual server is like hidden somewhere. I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know why he was saying that. But I think these are the like little advanced concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working, so I have to try.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but yeah, I think this is all we have to do as part of the virtual host, right?
Yeah.
The main purpose you mentioned is to hide the server name and port number that this WebLogic server is running on.
Yeah, that's all I remember. Okay, but this raises another question: that is this the only way to hide the port number and server name, or how do people do it in real world? Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can take a look at, you know, our applications, whether they are using virtual host or not.
Yeah.
But we definitely use the host file entries, that I know for sure.
Well, that's I think for sure. Otherwise, you can't do it. So if you can compare with your environment, that will tell us. I think that will answer our question.
Right. Currently, as part of your work, are